Thanks for coming back for another week for Speaker's Tip. Today I want to talk about how do you maintain the attention of the audience? How do you stay connected to your audience? And this is a big subject. I'm not going to cover it all today. I'm going to give you a couple points. Okay, the first point I want to give you is you have to care about your audience. You have to care about them. Second point is you have to grant them importance. Your audience has to be important to you, and you have to feel like you're speaking to people who are important. And the reason is if the speaker does not feel like the audience is important, he's going to talk down to the audience, he's going to degrade the audience. And who wants to stay connected to an individual who's speaking down to you and speaking in a degrading fashion to you? And I see this all the time with speakers who stand up and act like they are the, God's solution for all life's problems. And they're going to tell you exactly what you need to do. And a lot of speakers do this. This is one of the things in my coaching that I coach people on. You don't look at the audience and say, how many things have you done? What have you done that you're struggling with that you need to do this? Because that's not granting them importance. It disconnects from the audience. And the way I get around that is I say, you may know somebody who's struggling with something like this. Share this with them. It will help them. And now you're granting them importance that they could go help somebody with this data. And the thing is, if they're struggling with it, they're going to say, oh yeah, I know someone who's struggling with it. I know them real well. And they're going to accept it themselves and take it. But you're not cramming it down their throat. I've done other speaking tips on this. So how do you stay connected to your audience? Number one, care about your audience. Number two, grant them importance. They're the most important people in your life at that moment when you're speaking. And the reason I say that is here's the other side. You have to know your material well enough that you're not trying to remember your material. So if you wrote your speech, then you committed your speech to memory and you're just trying to come down and remember what the next line is in your speech off the page, the thing you care about is remembering the next line. You're not caring that the audience gets it because you don't know it well enough to put your attention on the audience. Fundamentally, it comes down, we've talked about this in the last couple of speakers tips. You got to be competent at what you're doing. So you have to work to know your material well enough that you can actually talk to that audience and care about them. And that you've done, again, I've done other speaker tips on this. If you don't know the audience, you need to get to know them. Get to the meeting early, shake their hands, talk to some people, have coffee with them before you speak. You're just browsing around, talking to people, and talk to the head of the organization to find out what they're struggling with. Say, can you give me 4 people that I can call and talk to about in your organization? I want to find out where they are so that you feel comfortable and you can put your attention on it. This is the type of stuff that if you're going to be out there speaking, you do. And this is the type of stuff that I'll do with people. And you don't see that. You just see the person get on the stage and you think, I'm supposed to get on the stage and do this. And you didn't realize all the work they're doing to be able to stand on that stage and do it. So my tips for you today: to hold the attention of your audience, care about the audience, grant them importance. And what I mean by that is you don't talk down to them. You consider these are important people you're talking to, because people like to be important. And if you're talking to them as important people, they're going to grant you permission to talk to them. And the third thing is know your material. And I've gone through that in some other tips. I'm just going to summarize a couple of things. If you have to drill your speech, sit down and go through it 10, 20, 30 times, do it. That's what it takes. That's what I have to do. Years ago, I got hired to deliver financial seminars. I probably spent 40 hours practicing the presentation. It was a 1-hour presentation. Then I probably spent another 50 presentations before I finally got the thing down where I really, really, really knew it. And I didn't have to rely on notes or PowerPoint slides. And I knew the material so well that I could really be on the audience at that point. That's what it took. It doesn't take me that today, but that's what it took back, what was it, 20 plus years ago when I started this game. Okay, those are the tips for the day. Hope you find them useful. I'll see you next week.